Warning. Listening to this show may result in increased levels of inspiration, motivation, and innovation. Side effects can include the immediate urge to take massive action to build a better business and life for yourself and others. You've been warned. Welcome to Influencers Radio with your host, Jack Mize.
And welcome back to another episode of Influencers Radio. The time has come. It's been a long year and a half, couple of years. We haven't got out of the house much. Probably hadn't put many miles on the car. We've been cooped up. Travel has been closed down. And if you're like me, you're ready to get out and about. And it really does. It looks like travel is finally opening up, but things have certainly changed. Before COVID, a lot of people may have thought that planning a vacation was a do-it-yourself exercise, right? But now, in this day and age, why jeopardize the experience? It may be time to leave it to the pros, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. Because my guest is Anne Kulhanek. She is the founder of Premier Travel. They're a boutique travel agency specializing in once-in-a-lifetime vacations. And really what makes this unique is, what makes a trip once in a lifetime? Well, with Anne, that's defined by you. She is someone that can take your travel dreams and amplify them beyond what you thought possible, because her vacations are never cookie cutter and always customized with her clients. Anne, welcome to Influencers Radio.
Well, hello, Jack. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I am too. And I think a lot of people are excited because it's time to get out of the house and we're starting to see things open up. We're starting to see that, those bucket list trips that a lot of us had on, we're ready to do have been pushed back a couple of years. So we're definitely itching to get out there. But before we kick that off, I have to ask you, you've been doing this for 20 years. And even besides the last, year and a half, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in the travel industry over that time. There's technology and internet. It's especially made it so easy for people to look up flights, find hotels, that kind of stuff. And a lot of people had that DIY mentality. So can you talk a little bit about, the changes over the last couple of years, but also the benefits of working with a specialist like you rather than going to booking a vacation online or directly with resorts?
Definitely, Jack. That's so true. With the dawning of the internet, it became, suddenly with airline tickets that were once only seen by a travel agent or booking with the airline, with the internet, everybody got to see everything. And there's some great excitement in that because suddenly you have control and you can see all your options and you're not limited to what someone was telling you. Along with that, though, has come like so many options. And sometimes it's really quick and easy to just book your trip yourself if you know where you're going and where you want to, when you need to be there. But whenever you need assistance for things that maybe you're not used to, and need professional advice and someone who's doing this all day long, a travel agent is a great person to tap and help in that.
What did we do before you could just look up a flight? You can just look up a hotel. But I guess being able to do that, like you said, it probably provides some transparency too. People know that, well, wait a minute, here's better deals. Do you think this transparency has actually helped people have trust in travel agencies when they can see what the options
possibly are? Yeah. And I think, too, comparing to years ago, now the consumer is more informed. And when they come to me for help, they have a little bit better ideas of where they want to go and what their options are. So it's really changed both of our worlds. It's easier for me to help someone when they're already got some ideas of where they want to go, why do they want to go there and things. So yeah, I guess all in all, it's been a good change, but it's definitely different than what it used to be for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think, the one thing I know that regardless of how easy it is to book this stuff, the frustrations are still there when you're having to keep up with, the flights, the hotels, the rental cars, or the ground arrangements. Is that something that you kind of handle like a one-stop shop that you manage all that stuff that seems to be, I think that's why people get back from vacations and they're so tired. You need a kind of a vacation from your vacation because you're worn out. You're working more, trying to manage the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. What we do is we will do all that for you and search around, do the research to find out all of your options and save you the time that will do all our search and then come back to you and say, here is, after you've told me, of course, what it is you're looking for, but offer you several options to say, maybe by adjusting our days a little bit, we can save you some time or have better flights or have a lower priced package. We'll also compare whether a package rate is better than booking things individually. So basically, we are your search engine, taking into consideration what exactly you're looking for and offering you as many options as, possibilities that you're considering.
I want to get into what I feel goes above and beyond the consideration of just not having to book stuff yourself or knowing these little hacks for saving money, but the fact that what you do is you specialize in luxury and these one of a kind, very customized packages. But before we jump into that, I think one thing that's probably on the top of a lot of people's minds when they're thinking about using a travel agency is, what's the premium that I have to pay for this type of service, and is it worth that premium? So, would you mind kind of digging into that and what people can expect on that side?
Of course. Yeah. Every travel advisor or travel agent charges differently. Personally, I can describe how we base our fees. We start at a $50 per person fee, and that's usually a airline ticket or a package, and then go up from there depending on how much time and how much work needs to go into from the time that you book to the time that you return from your trip. If we're doing like a customized trip in Italy where we're, customizing it exactly for you with train tickets and hotels and private tour guides and tastings and things like that, the prices can go up to probably as high as $500 a person is probably our max, and ranging everything in between. But I'd say an average fee is probably about $100 a person when it's a cruise that includes airline or a river cruise or a package tour of some sort.
To me, it was shocking when I discovered that. And I think it is to a lot of people because, in the grand scheme of things, it's really negligible. And I would imagine, based on kind of your expertise of like you're talking about, knowing if you shift this a day, you can save money by doing this. I can't help but think that using a travel agency, especially for, a bucket list type trip would actually save you money over doing it yourself. Do you find that to be the case?
Definitely. And we are your shoppers for you. So we use certain suppliers that we know are dependable and reliable, and we also shop among them to make sure that we're getting you the best bang for your buck. But at the same time, not just about low price, because you want a good vacation and you want to be there if something goes wrong. We need to have you with a reputable, reliable person who is going to fix it for you, along with us. So it's a fine line between trying to find you the best value and getting you the most for your money, but still getting the quality that you need. and want out of that trip.
Well, one of the things that really stands out about what you do is the personalization. One of the things that just really struck me is that you are very, very cognizant of the fact that what luxury means to one person isn't necessarily what it means to another person. How did that come to be such a kind of guiding principle in your agency?
Oh, goodness. Luxury for everyone is so different. And the word luxury is used in travel all the time. And it's funny because every travel supplier considers themselves luxury. And it really is defined by you. For you, luxury might be being in a first-class airline ticket to Europe and being in a penthouse suite at a certain hotel. Somebody else might be luxury of being in Ireland, and their luxury might be just being among the locals and staying at an authentic hotel and getting to meet the owner of a little pub or something like that. So luxury really is, in my opinion, it's about doing what you want to do in the way that you want to do it. And whether it's off the beaten path or if it's at an iconic place that, not a tourist trap, but somewhere that's very popular. It is about you and what you're wanting out of this trip and customized just for you.
And that's what I find, it can mean so much to someone because, the fact that you take the time to understand what that means to them. So when someone wants to have one of these bucket list trips, what are the things that they should have in mind, before they talk to someone like you? Do they have ideas, and how malleable should those ideas be? Because I know one thing that you do is you often put people into trips and or at least parts of their trips that go way beyond what they even thought or expected or could imagine. So how do you take what they envision and build onto that?
Yeah. How do we do that? When we work with people, we're not order takers. Like what you just described was, if you go to a travel agency and say, I want to go on a cruise, or yes, let's use that as an example, and they hand you a brochure and say, oh, yeah, this is the perfect cruise for you. Run the other way. Because that's someone taking an order, and that's kind of what the onlines do. They're just taking your order. We work more as a travel consultant, where we get to know our clients. We do a pretty thorough interview about them, their past travel experiences, what they liked about it, what they didn't, why they want to go, where they want to go this time. What do they want to experience out of it? What's like the important things that, like, if these three things happen, I'm going to come home from this trip and it's going to be success. So usually people have certain things in mind. The other thing is like how they're imagining spending their time. Some of our clients are really active and just go, and are there to cover as much land as possible. And then other clients are going for just to casually meander through an area, and they want a lot of free time and just want to be able to relax and recharge. So we find out all those things about them. And then if most of the destinations, I've traveled to over 38 countries because it's my mission to help people to explore the world, but I find value by having personal experience there. I can then advise you about what it's like to be there, things that you're not to miss, and anything that's real special or unique to that area that maybe you wouldn't know about. And it would come from either my personal experience or the suppliers that I use that are specialists in that region and often on the ground.
You mentioned something, you talk about traveling. You've traveled to how many countries was it?
38 and counting.
Well,
2 more in September.
Well, I think that a lot of times when people think of bucket list trips, I would imagine a high percentage of those are out of the country. And so, what does international travel look like today as the world opens up from COVID? What's different and what should people expect when they are planning something like that?
Yeah. With everything being closed down and slowly opening up as the world gets vaccinated and our COVID numbers are coming down, countries are beginning to open. And we do a lot of international travel, including Hawaii and Alaska. But we're seeing, of course, Alaska is open. Hawaii's opening with, you do need a negative COVID test before you arrive in Hawaii, as well as to fly between the islands. But all the COVID restrictions and things, of course, change daily. So it's always something that definitely you want to check into before you leave or before you make your reservations, so you know ahead of time. But as far as Europe is starting to open up, we're seeing Greece is open, Italy is going to be opening soon, France is opening soon, and they are either requiring negative COVID tests, and there's also even having some flights where you have to get to the airport with your negative COVID test, but then they're testing you to get to Italy. They'll test you at the airport, and then you must wear your mask while you're flying. You have to change your mask after 4 hours. And then once you arrive in Italy, they're going to do another COVID test. Provided you test negative, then you will be able to stay and tour around. And of course, they tip you home if you tested positive. But they're trying to prevent the spread of COVID. And then currently, if you are traveling outside of the U.S., like right now, Mexico is open, and Jamaica and the Caribbean is open, but our government or the CDC has required that any U.S. citizen who's traveling outside the U.S. must have a negative COVID test taken 72 hours before they can come back into the country. And that's what we've been dealing with. Everyone who's been traveling this winter, like down to Mexico and the Dominican Republic, that was what was new this year.
Your specialization in these bucket list trips, especially for people, 50 years and older, it's a time that they really want to get the most out of what they're doing. They want to get the most out of their travels. And I can think of two different scenarios. One is, couples, 50 plus couples, their getaway, really taking that time. Maybe they're empty nesters. The kids are gone. It may be the first time in a long time they've actually done something together. And then you have people that have been missing the family. Maybe they haven't gotten together. You have grandparents with grandkids that maybe people haven't seen in the last several months. So what I'd like to ask you to do is kind of paint a picture of what you've seen some really great trips or vacations are for those two kind of categories. That couple that may not have gotten away together in a long time versus the people that want the extended family to get together because they haven't seen them in a long time. Are there a couple of options that come to your mind that people have really enjoyed?
Yeah, definitely. Two very different trips, definitely, without a doubt. When it's couples, oftentimes once you're done raising your kids, they're off to college or off and married, now it's me time. And you kind of get to concentrate on the things that you've always wanted to do because you've just given your last 18 or 20 years of your life to raising a family. And people frequently have big trips that they've just always wanted to do. Italy is a big one for people, or going to Europe, or an African safari, or I guess it all depends on what type of traveler you are. If you're looking for culture or food or excitement or relaxation. But when you're on a couples trip, it's nice the fact that it's just the two of you deciding where you want to go and what you want to do. So it's easier to travel because it's just considering your two interests. And that can be anywhere in the world that you choose to go. When it comes to the multi-generational families, we're seeing more and more as people are retiring. Family is so important, and they're wanting to, rather than leave a big inheritance to their children once they die, they have the feeling that let's spend this together with them and enjoy it together. So we have our time together, and we're making all these memories together rather than getting some inheritance at the end. And so many families take trips repeatedly, where even if the families are spread out over the U.S., it's not an easy coordination, but that's something we easily do for you, is coordinate everybody to fly into the destination where that family is together for their week or 2-week vacation. Grandma and grandpa get time to spend with their own children, but also those beloved grandchildren, and get time to make memories together and be together and know each other and just build those relationships. The other thing that I didn't mention is that we have your back. So when you are traveling with your family or just the two of you, you know you can pick up the phone and we are there to help you if anything should go wrong. So that's another reason that you'd want to book with a travel agent, is the ease and knowing somebody has your back and is there to support you in any way.
And the more I see what you're doing and you know, the types of experiences you put together, that's what you're doing. You're that facilitator of making memories, which to me is invaluable. And just listening to you, you can hear your passion around this, and listening to you talk about these trips. I mean, it really is infectious. I mean, it makes you, like, you know, pack your bags. So I got to ask, what led you into this travel agency business and really taking on what some would think was the burden, but to me, it sounds like it's your joy in planning other people's these wonderful experiences. How did you get into this?
How I got into travel was just by fluke through a friend, and started this. But I've always been, I love helping people, and I like the idea of helping people to see the world, because I believe that exploring different cultures and meeting people with different ideas than you have just broadens your horizons, makes you more understanding of different cultures and less limited to what believing that where I live is, you know, this is the only way to do something. And that just always has tugged at my heart. And when I can help someone to expand their world and just broaden their horizons or their opinions of things, it just makes me so excited. And I know that's kind of silly, but it is. I think so often, like when you watch TV and you see things on TV about different countries, so often it's never really good information, or it's never good news about good people doing good things. And when you're in a country that maybe has different culture than us, and we think they're so much different than us, once you get to know them and you understand them, you realize they're exactly like us. You know, they have the same wants and desires. Sometimes our politics aren't the same, but deep down, I believe everyone is the same. And I think through travel, you know, once we start understanding people on a personal level, who knows, maybe one day there will be world peace.
Well, I think that's the thing. Once people experience those other cultures and are actually immersed in it, I mean, it really does open your mind and change, you know, some preconceptions that you may have had. What are some of your favorite types of places? Because I know my wife is more of a tropical person. I like Europe. I don't know what it is. I'm maybe one of the few people that enjoy the dampness and just the oldness of Europe. But what are some of the your favorite places, and what places surprised you?
Yeah, I have clients that Some are looking for that relaxing beach vacation getaway, just want to get away and unplug, perhaps something like your wife wants. And then I have travelers that are more that exploration and want that history and culture, and they're looking for more that type of experience. Surprisingly, though, sometimes people like to do both. And hopefully, when it comes to couples traveling together, we can weave both that relaxation in along with that discovery. If you pick a certain location, and deciding what location you pick, and then setting up tours or activities to do while you're there, so that hopefully you're both happy at the end of the trip. But as far as popular destinations that our clients love, Alaska and Hawaii are the two American destinations that we specialize in and send many people to. They're both very popular and vast. Hawaii is, we're helpful when it comes to Hawaii vacations because we specialize in all the different islands, so can help clients decide which island is going to be best for them or which two islands. And Alaska, there's so many different ways that you can tour Alaska and see Alaska. So that's another area that we're quite helpful in. And then when it comes to the international travel, we, of course, do the Caribbean and the warm weather destinations, the Mexico, where people from Wisconsin need to get away in the winter and escape the cold and the snow. So in our area, a lot of people head south. That might be any of the Caribbean islands or going on a cruise. And then during this rest of the year, most of our clients like to head to Europe and Ireland, Italy, Greece. River cruising has become so popular, and it's a great way to explore a region of Europe, whether it's France or Germany and the Rhine or the Danube. And that's another very popular part of travel that we've been specializing in, is learning the differences between all the different cruise lines that are out there and what's the different experiences that you'll have on them. And then we'll also research and offer our clients several choices, so they're not limited to just one.
And that's what I find really remarkable, and it kind of opened my eyes when I'm digging deeper into what you do, is regardless of the location, as say Italy, depending on the person, you can create two completely different vacation experiences in the same destination, depending on their, what they want out of the vacation. So I think that's one of the things that, huge benefits of working with someone like you, that when you do have someone like for example, myself and my wife that want different things out of a vacation, that you can kind of create those experiences in the same place. If someone wants relaxation and someone wants to dig into history, that oftentimes, you can get it in the same destination. As long as you are working with someone that knows how to do that. And I think that's just really, really remarkable. I'm sure that there's a lot of people thinking that, well, there's no reason why I shouldn't look more into this. Can you kind of walk us through what it's like to work with you? What is what's the process, the experience someone has when they decide that they're going to pick up the phone and find out more about this?
Yeah. Typically we start out with a phone conversation or in person in our office, getting to know them, finding out what they look for, what they're wanting out of this trip. Then after, we'll get together, or I'll do the research to come up with some ideas, and usually a complete itinerary and with some prices. And then offer that to them, and they can make some decisions. And of course, we redo these, adjust it accordingly till we have it fit exactly what it is that they want. After that, we'll go ahead and book it for them, secure everything, give it to them in a nice little package. When it's time to travel, if we, either mail the documents or email them or in person, we'll meet, help them prepare for the trip to make sure that they know everything that needs to happen before they go, provide them with information ahead of time, maybe plan things out, activities and tours and things that they would be doing there if we're putting all these things together. And when it comes time to travel, they have all their travel documents and everything all set to go. We also have this handy-dandy little app that you can have all your travel documents located right on your cell phone with you, so you can take with you when you're there. And then you have our phone number and our email address to contact us, because we're your at-home concierge while you're gone. Anything goes sideways, you have our number to call. And we're there to assist you in any way that you can. And just make sure that you get home safely and are ready to plan your next trip.
To me, the peace of mind, especially when you look at how negligible the cost is to have someone like you on your side. I can't imagine traveling out of the country without using services like yours, versus trying to do all this myself. So I'm sure we probably opened up a lot of eyes, perhaps changed a lot of minds here. So how can someone find out more about Anne Kulhanek and Premier Travel, and if they want to get involved with what you do and create that luxury and that once in a lifetime vacation?
Sure. You could start out at our website. It's premiertravels.com, premiertravels.com. And on that website, you can sign up. You could click a link to schedule what we call a Planet Perfectly Discovery call, where it's just a half an hour complimentary call where we can get to know each other and decide if we're a good fit or not. And but I would, at that call, find out about where you want to go and what you want to do, and how to get that process started. And then also we're on Facebook and Instagram as well.
All right. Well, great. Well, we'll definitely put those links up on the show notes. And I want to thank you for coming on, sharing this information. I think now more than ever, people are itching to get out. People are itching to catch up, do those bucket list trips that have been put off for the last couple of years. And for you to be able to do that and facilitate for the people, just tremendous. So thank you for coming on and sharing this and really opening our eyes to what those options are.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, Jack. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, there you have it. Definitely check out Premier Travels. If you're thinking that it's time, you want to get out, relieve yourself of the stress of trying to do all this yourself, especially when the cost just isn't there. And it's, you probably save money by working with someone to do this. And definitely, Anne, you can hear the passion and that she has behind making sure that your trip is a memorable one. So until next time on Influencers Radio, remember, you are the only real game changer.
You've been listening to Influencers Radio. To get all past shows and updates on future shows, visit influencersradio.com today.